Hi, my name is Arpit Patel, and this is the presentation regarding assignment 2 of Law and Ethics in Forensics. So, the assignment has two parts. In part A, we have example 1 and example 2. So, in example 1, we are going to see the ethical and legal consideration for whistleblowing in security vulnerabilities, the case of Bluetooth enabled door locks, which is a case of Anthony. Assuming Anthony lives and works in USA and is subject to US law, we are going to discuss about legal and ethical perspective and alternatives about it as per the US laws. So the first one is the public disclosure through responsible vulnerability disclosure channels. The one is legal perspective. We are going to see from the legal perspective, uh, in which vulnerability disclosure policies. Many tech companies and government bodies have established formal vulnerability disclosure programs, which is known as VDPs, or let's say bug bounty programs, which encourage security researchers to report flaws directly to them. By following responsible disclosure guidelines, Anthony could shield himself from legal risk under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, which is known as CFAA, and Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which is known as DMCA, as companies generally refrain from suing researchers who act in a good faith. So the responsible disclosure typically involves reporting a vulnerability privately to the vendor, giving them enough time to fix the issue before making it public. This is increasingly supported by organizations like MITRE, which oversees the CVE, which is a common vulnerability and exposure systems which is used to crack security flaws. The CFAA, which is in which Anthony would avoid triggering potential legal repercussions from CFAA, which prohibits unauthorized access to the system. If Anthony conducted his research legally, for example, buying and testing the logs, he would likely to be safe from CFAA liability. In from ethical perspective, there are three things: utilitarianism, which is in which responsible disclosure channels align with utilitarian ethics, which seeks to maximize positive outcomes by following a structured approach. uh, Anthony could prevent harm to consumer without damaging business unnecessarily. This method also ensures that the vulnerability is fixed before it can be exploited on larger scale. From professional ethics, from a professional standpoint, responsible disclosure respects the norms of cybersecurity community and organizations like Electronic Frontier Foundation, which is known as EFF, and HackerOne promote ethical hacking principle that ensures the cooperation between researchers and companies for the greater good of the ecosystem all over. The ethical risk, with the downside is that some companies may refuse to address the issue or respond poorly, delaying fixes and leave consumer vulnerable. In this case, Anthony might still need to decide whether to escalate the issue if the manufacturer remain unresponsive. Second, filing a class action lawsuit on behalf. A second alternative is filing a class action lawsuit on behalf of affected consumers. Legal perspective, class action litigation. If Anthony wanted to take a more aggressive legal approach, he could work with a law firm to initiate a class action lawsuit on behalf of consumers who were harmed or could be harmed by insecure locks under consumer protection laws, specifically the the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act and various state consumer fraud acts. Companies can be held liable for selling defective products. What is in product liability? Anthony's findings suggest a clear case of product liability, particularly for negligence in design and manufacturing. A class action lawsuit could push manufacturers to recall products or improve their security measures, and Anthony could testify as an expert witness. Whistleblower legal protection. If Anthony takes on this role, he could benefit from protection as a whistleblower, especially under the laws like Consumer Product Safety Improvement Act, which is known as CPSIA, which protects individuals who report unsafe products to the government or legal authorities. This could provide Anthony with some cover against the potential retaliation from manufacturers. From ethical perspective, uh, deonto- deontological ethics. From a deontological standpoint, this path respects Anthony's duty to uphold the law and protect consumer, which aligns with the principle of the justice, and he would be acting in accordance with the formal legal mechanisms to hold the companies accountable. Uh, the second one is the rights-based ethic. A class action also aligns with right-based ethics, protecting the rights of consumers to expect safe, safe uh, and safe products by helping initiate litigations. Anthony ensures that companies do not escape liability for failing to protect their consumers' security. The drawbacks: ethically, however, this approach could be seen as extreme if there is a chance the manufacturers would fix the um, vulnerability or the fault voluntarily. Restoring the Resorting to litigation could be viewed as unnecessarily damaging to business. The lawsuit might also take years, um, and leaving the security flaw unaddressed in the meantime. The third alternative could be coordinating with government agencies for a mandatory product recall. From legal perspective, uh, Consumer Product Safety Commission, which is known as CPSC, Anthony could work with the CPSC or other regulatory bodies to initiate a formal investigation and potentially force a recall of defective locks under the Consumer Product Safety Act. The CPSC has broad powers to mandate recalls and impose fines on companies that produce dangerous products. Liability for manufacturers: if the CPSC determines that the locks pose a significant risk to consumers, the manufacturers could be compelled to address the vulnerabilities, including providing updates or recalling the locks from the market. A Section 15B report under the CPSA requires manufacturers, distributors, and retailers to report the potentially dangerous products. FTC enforcement: Anthony could also contact the Federal Trade Commission, which enforces laws against unfair or deceptive business practices. The FTC has fined companies for inadequate security measures that harm consumers under Section 5 of the FTC Act. For example, companies have been penalized for failing to protect consumers' data adequately or making false claim about the security of their products. From ethical perspective, consequent, cons- consequentialism, by involving government authorities, Anthony could achieve significant positive outcomes for a wide range of people, which aligns with consequentialistic ethics. This option could protect not only consumers who have purchased the locks, but also future consumers who might otherwise buy an unsafe product. Public good and fairness. Public good and fairness. This approach emphasizes fairness. It holds companies accountable for the actions through uh, legal regulated channels, ensuring the manufacturers are not unfairly punished without due process. It balances the Anthony's ethical values and the manufacturer's right to defend their products. Potential downsides, the drawbacks here is the slow pace of regulatory actions. It can take months, if not years, for agencies to deal with this issue and issue recalls. During this time, consumers may continue to use insecure products, which could expose them to further risk. So the conclusion is best legal option, coordinating with the government agencies like CPSC or FTC presents the strongest legal path for Anthony, as it allows him to address the issue through formal channels with minimal personal legal risk. The best ethical option is the responsible vulnerability disclosure balances consumer protection with respect for manufacturer, making it ethically sound. It allows Anthony to act in good faith while ensuring that consumers are not left exposed. And these are other additional legal reference. These are legal references which are Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, which is 18 USC 1030 which governs authorized access to computers and system, but includes exceptions for security researchers to conduct in good faith. And this is the live link for that act, the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act, 15 USC 2301-2312, which provides consumers with legal remedies for defective products. And the Federal Trade Commission Act, which is 15 USC 45, prohibits unfair or deceptive practices which could be applied to manufacturers marketing insecure products as secure. And these all are live links. In example 2, legal and ethical aspect of the scenario. The situation faced by the two members of Salesforce Canada's red team presents a complex interplay of legal and ethical issues concerning employment rights, corporate governance, cybersecurity ethics, and intellectual property. Below are the key points exploring these dimensions, accompanied by credible references. And assuming the team members work for Salesforce Canada, lives in Toronto, and they are subject to Canadian or Ontario law, we will discuss legal and ethical aspect of this scenario based on Canadian and Ontario's law. So the first one is employment law and just cause dismissal. The legal context here in Ontario, the Employment Standards Act, which is known as ESA, sets out the rights and obligations of employers and employees, including the circumstances under which an employee can be dismissed for cause. The key question here is whether the team members' actions constitute just cause for dismissal, especially when they were acting in what they perceived to be the interest of public knowledge and professional integrity. The legal reference is Employment Standards Act RSO 2000 C41. The ESA outlines employees' rights regarding termination, and it defines the conditions under which dismissal is considered just. If the team members' actions were seen as an attempt to educate and protect the community, this may challenge the grounds for dismissal. And here's the link of that act, of a PDF of that act. The second one is Harris SJ 2018. He published an article which is a just cause dismissals in Canada, a guide for employees, Canadian Labor and Employment Law Journal. This article analyzes the case law around just cause dismissals in Canada, emphasizing the burden of proof on employers to demonstrate that an employee's actions warrant termination. The third one, ethical consideration. The ethical issue here is about being open about cybersecurity and reporting problems responsibly. Whether employees may believe that sharing information helps the whole cybersecurity field, that actions went against what Salesforce is leading. against what Salesforce policy or leading to a conflict between loyalty to the company and doing what's right as a professional. Second one is the whistleblower protections and ethical obligations. The legal context in Canada, whistleblower protections mostly cover people who work in government jobs. However, there is an increasing understanding that similar protections are needed in private companies, particularly in cybersecurity. Although the team members didn't technically qualify as whistleblowers, their choices to share information through without specific details can be seen as an effort to benefit the public, especially given the importance of their security tool to the wider security field. The legal references are Government of Canada 2017. A discussion paper was published as a Strengthening Canada's Whistleblower Protection Regime. A discussion paper, it evaluates the existing whistleblower protections in Canada and suggests frameworks for improvement, advocating for more comprehensive approaches that includes the private sector also. The second reference is McCarthy 2021, which is which has a title "Whistleblowing in the Workplace: Protecting the Whistleblower." This legal guide details whistleblower rights and protections, emphasizing the importance of safeguarding employees who act in the public interest, especially in sensitive sectors like cybersecurity. The ethical consideration in cybersecurity, there is a moral obligation to act in the best interest of public. The team members, however, felt responsible for cybersecurity, for improving cybersecurity knowledge while also considering Salesforce internal issues. But in many companies, decisions usually focuses more on following internal rules than sharing the information with public. The third one is intellectual property and open source concerns. The legal context, the development of mid-pistol tools raises significant questions about ownership rights to that intellectual property created in the course of employment. Generally, employers retain all the rights over work products created by their employees, but the intention to make the tool open source complicates these situations. The legal references here are Copyright Act RSC 1970, 1970 C30. This act outlines the ownership of copyright in Canada, stating that works created by employees generally belong to the employer unless a different agreement exists. The question is whether sharing the code violates this act. The second reference here is Lindgren S 2019. He published a paper which was Intellectual Property Rights in Software Development, Understanding Ownership and Release, Journal of Intellectual Property, Law and Practices. This paper explores the complexities of ownership in software development, including the implications of releasing software under open source licenses. The ethical consideration is the choice between innovation and security is important. Sharing the tool openly could have improved the community or by letting others build on it. But there is a big risk that bad people could also use it wrongly. Salesforce might have done the right thing by it private to protect everyone from responsible harm. In conclusion, the scenario faced by the Salesforce Canada Red team underscores the complex landscape of legal and ethical challenges in cybersecurity. The interplay between employment law, corporate governance, whistleblower protections, and intellectual property rights, it creates a multifaceted situation that necessitates careful consideration. By leveraging the references provided, one can gain deeper insights into the legal frameworks and ethical standards that govern this area, highlighting the need for ongoing dialogue about the best practices and protections for cybersecurity professionals. These are some additional references which are Canadian cybersecurity strategy. It is published by the government of Canada in 2020. And the second one is the Information Systems Audit and Control Association, which is known as ISACA, and it um, published a paper. It published a paper uh, in 2022. In part B of this assignment, we are going to see the comprehensive analysis of Joe Biden's executive order on AI scope, gaps, jurisdictions, and legislative context. President Joe Biden's executive order on artificial intelligence, signed this October 2023, is an all-encompassing framework addressing safe and secure development while the work continues to ensure US leadership in the field. It is far-reaching order, matching the difficulty and extensiveness of AI technologies and their influence on national security, innovation, civil rights, and the economy. So, what is covered in this order? The executive order encompasses a lot of critical areas in terms of ethical and safe deployment, with an emphasis on US leadership in AI while minimizing the risks. The first one is AI safety and security. It outlines processes through which AI technology development and deployment are protected. The suggestion includes standards for AI safety in systems that could have national defense applications, dual use technologies, and protocols related to critical infrastructure, including energy grids, healthcare systems, and military applications. There are also been an increasing emphasis on other proposals such as watermarking the content generated by AI to prevent misapplications of such content in misinformation or digital fraud. The second one is fostering innovation and competition. Through the said executive order, funding research AI was provided for support to smaller businesses in AI was given a boost, as well as encouraging the protection of intellectual property. There is also an emphasis on protection of the US competitive edge in the development of AI, especially because China and other great powers have been able to achieve significant progress in this particular field. They need to attract AI talent and develop the rising demand for AI talent is emphasized. Web development company executive order signed by President Joe Biden in October 2023 articulates a comprehensive and all-encompassing frameworks on the safe and secure development of AI. With joint efforts towards ensuring the US leadership in this field, the breadth of the order reflects not just the complexity of the technology involved in it, AI, but also its impact on national security, innovation, civil rights, and the economy, encouraging innovation and competition. The executive order provides funding for research in AI, the promotion for smaller businesses in AI, and the encouragement of intellectual property protections. It emphasizes how those things are critical in ensuring the US competitive edge in developing AI, a place it can't afford to lose amid the rapid progress by China and other global leaders like Europe and Soviet Union, Russia. Front burner items now are recruitment of AI talent and solutions to better meet the rising demand for AI expertise. The civil rights and equity. The this order addresses the responsibility that AI will perpetuate social inequalities by underlining issues relating to discriminatory practices in criminal justice, hiring, and health. The order requires federal agencies to establish safeguards to avoid AI systems making based decision in critical areas, but not limited to eligibility for government entitlements. Consumer protections. The directive offers consumer protection against AI risk, especially in critical industries such as healthcare, education, and attempts to strike a balance between deploying AI to enhance public services while protecting the right to privacy and individual liberty. The privacy. Given the risk mitigation interest in AI, the executive order calls for an examination of the privacy implications of AI systems, particularly the information. The section invites enhancement regarding privacy protections as a means of ensuring AI technologies will not infringe on the individual's right. So, what is not there? It's an ambitious program that the executive order has outlined, but a few things jump out due to their conspicuous absence. Uh, Enforcement. The order outlines activities and principles. However, most of the provisions are not binding requirements. Um, it is heavily dependent on the voluntary measures from companies and research institutions at the points where it requires private sector AI deployment. There may be a need for strict regulations beyond this order soon. Labor market impacts. While the order does recognize the risk of jobs displacement from AI automation, it devotes little ink to guidance or solutions for workers who may be displaced. More concrete plans for reskilling workers and mitigating the potential impact of an AI on employment are needed. Corporate accountability. While the executive order has a strong focus on ethics in AI, it falls short on providing corporate liability standards when AI technologies are causing harms. Examples including based algorithm that informs higher or AI powered surveillance leading to potential rights violations. This may involve further legislations on accountability on the part of companies. The third one is to whom is the order addressed? The executive order is directed to a wide array of federal agencies in the US government, each with over 100 different actions that they take upon AI. This includes DoD, the Department of Commerce, the FTC, and HHS, among many others, each having different sets of obligations such as oversights into AI standards in their sectors, ensuring protections for consumers, and fostering innovations. For example, the Department of Defense must ensure that the AI technologies are introduced into the defense systems safely and they cannot be vulnerable to cyber attacks. The Department of Commerce is dealing with the stimulation of innovation in AI, fostering startups for AI, and addressing issues related to intellectual property rights and export controls concerning AI technologies. Federal Trade Commission has the responsibility for oversight of AI's implications for consumer right and privacy. Drivers behind the executive order. This came into effect based on several critical factors, including national security. This include the increasing reliance of adversaries on AI, especially within military and cyber operations, is a growing concern. AI might be used in cyber attacks, disinformation, and espionage. Therefore, any nation may find its control an urgent need for reasons of defense. Global AI competition, as many nations such as China, Russia continues to put heavy investment in this field of AI, the United States would like to maintain its edge in AI innovation. Through this executive order, the government tries to ensure that it remains the world leader in AI while setting up the spirit of ethical dimensions concerning AI development. The public concerns are the order also speaks to acute public awareness of risk inherent in AI, including but not limited to bias in AI systems, invention of privacy, and like ills. Policymakers, therefore, are compelled to adopt proactive measures ensuring development of AI technologies in ethical, responsible ways. Why was the order made, and why was the order made when it was? The President Biden's executive order on AI came hot on the heels of various imperative factors relating to the phenomenal growth and impact of AI technologies. These are meetings the meeting the national security imperative. As AI grows in importance in sectors related to defense, cybersecurity, and infrastructure. So to did the US government have to act on mitigating risk related to national security, including potential malicious uses of AI in cyber attacks and cyber attacks or warfare, manage civil and ethical risks. AI technologies, in particular generative AI, have raised concerns with respect to privacy, discriminations, and other forms of misuse of personal data. This executive order is so that the protection of civil liberties is protected. Bias via AI is avoided, and algorithmic accountability increases upon applications through frameworks such as the AI Bill of Rights, keeping pace with global AI governance. This is a global race for leadership in AI, especially with the competitors like the big countries such as China, European Union, and the US is trying to get its regulatory apparatus more clarified and viable at the highest level. Thus, the European Union's AI Act and China's aggressive AI strategy pushed the US to act in a haste so as not to lose out in the race in AI governance, ensuring economic competitiveness. This order was supposed to encourage AI innovation in US in such a manner that would guarantee this country would remain at the forefront of any turn of technological development with all proper safety and ethics considered. Industry and public pressure responded that the use of AI in high-stakes environments such as healthcare, finance, such as tech companies, such pressure from industry leaders and civil society groups called for much clearer regulations. This is the door for future congressional elections, while guidelines of responsive AI development have been published. The issuance of this order has been a strategic attempt at managing the vast potential of AI while minimizing the risks. How does the order compare to other jurisdictions? Biden's executive order is part of a greater global trend for governments to regulate AI. The European Union's landmark AI Act categorized AI applications based on the level of risk associated with their use, such as low or high. Contrary to the direction taken in the US, the AI Act prescribes more stringent regulatory requirements for high-risk applications related to biometric surveillance and critical infrastructure. In China, the Chinese have been investing aggressively in AI, but with far more centralized state control over its development. China has also provided regulations focusing on security aspects of AI, but surveillance and social control, in contrast to civil rights emphasized in the US, fit with existing US legislation. The, this executive order builds from the National AI Initiative Act of 2020, which laid the foundation of US leadership in AI. The new order goes beyond prior efforts in weighing national security and civil right protections in AI development on an equal footing. The order also intersects with the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act of 2015 and other data protection laws to ensure that AI integrates into cybersecurity and defense while maintaining privacy standards. Put differently, the Biden executive order on AI represents a gallant leap into a safer and more ethical AI future that strikes a balance between innovation and consumer protection. Its success, however, remains yet to be seen. Further legislative actions and international cooperation to effectively implement its provisions. Civil rights and equity. The Biden's executive order does consider how AI could perpetuate unfairness in society, chiefly in matters like criminal justice, hiring, healthcare. It calls upon federal agencies to establish safeguards that would prevent AI system from making based decisions against anyone, specifically in high-stake decisions related to government services such as army and defense. Consumer protections. The executive order calls for protecting consumers against AI related risk in many companies, industries, including healthcare, education, and transportation. In general, the order provides that the use of AI services will advance the different innovative frontiers that will go toward maintaining the rights and privacy in the face of the possible perils of AI. The executive order requires a review of how AI systems affect individuals' privacy, most especially those that record personal data. This segment recommends enchanting and the safeguards to ensure that AI technologies do not violate an individual's rights. These are the live links. It is the whitehouse.government live link, uh, which has information regarding the executive order. This is the publications by Harvard Belfer Center organizations. Uh, this is the blueprint of uh, executive order, and this link by Georgetown.education, it has EO live AI trackers which shows the amount of work which has been done by the um, administrations and Biden's administrations. Three element USA laws. Following is a look at three US laws that could be consulted with a view to knowing how this executive order on AI by President Joe Biden fits into the existing um, legislation. National AI Initiative Act of 2020. The overview: this act seeks to re-establish the United States leadership concerning AI research and development. The federal strategy for driving innovation in AI shall be promoted through federal funding of AI and AI R&D, public and private partnerships, and education in AI related field with a view to building an AI ready workforce. Relevance to the executive order: the Biden executive order complements the extent and focus of the National AI Initiative Act, from AI research to ethical and secure deployment of AI, with consideration of civil rights, privacy, and national security, in addition to the advancement of innovation. This document meets growing objectives centered on facilitating US AI leadership through the mitigation of risk and the assurance of ethical parameters. This is the PDF of the Act of a National AI Initiative Act, and the second act is the Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act of 2015. The overview is the sharing information about cybersecurity threats by CISA between private companies and the federal government enforces a much better overall cybersecurity defense. Relevance to the executive order: the executive order incorporates AI into this cybersecurity framework by realizing that the AI technologies have twin potentials to improve and pose risks to national defense systems. In applying AI to important infrastructure such as energy grids, healthcare systems, and military systems, the order broadens the mandate articulated in CISA to cover AI-fueled threats such as cyber attacks and disinformation. These are the links of the act and the blueprint and the bill, original PDF of the bill, which was published by Congress.Government 2024. AI Bill of Rights 2022. The AI Bill of Rights is a non-binding set of principles that protect individuals from potential harm done by AI technologies. In all, it enumerates rights to privacy, protections against algorithmic bias, and transparency of AI decision making system. Relevant to the executive order, the recently released Biden executive order supports and enforces the AI Bill of Rights to ensure that federal agencies consider the mentioned guidelines in the applications of AI systems. The order does so by taking a step further, enforcing algorithmic accountability for high stake areas in criminal justice, hiring, and healthcare, ensuring no impingement of civil rights by the AI systems, such as legislation set up parliamentary framework for the said executive order, wherein a balance of interest would be sought between securing national interest on one hand and innovation and civil liberties on the other in times of AI. These are the links and blueprints of this act. Thank you.